talked about what it takes to step up and really do this, sacrifices that it takes. You necessarily can't really identify all the sacrifices; those are individual. But we also talked about, a little bit of my philosophy on music and what it takes to get to that point where your talent's good enough to do the thing that you're doing. And then we ended it on, why I believe you need God in your life, really, to do this. And it's a personal relationship, you don't necessarily have to go to church and mingle with all the other people struggling with God. Yeah, you're going to have that enough on your own. But, this week, what are we going to talk about? Let's see. I am about 3 hours out from home. It's been a tough week of practice. It's always, anything that's worth doing is going to be tough, and it's a grind. Rehearsals are long. I guess I'll talk about getting down there. Oh my God. Help me. I was coming down to Nashville from Central Illinois. Man, oh man. We got 7 inches of snow. And it covered pretty much all of Central Illinois and Southern Illinois. And didn't really let up until I got to Kentucky area. And I put up on social media, I couldn't ever be so happy. I don't think I never was so happy to be in Paducah, Kentucky. I don't think anybody else has ever said that either. Make it to Paducah was so unbelievable. I was using Waze, as I do. I should probably chime in about 20 minutes or so. Using Waze, she's telling me to take these off-roads. I'm like, no, I'm going to try to stay on the interstate. Let's stay on 57. I'm like, okay, here, fine. And it looks like there's another slowdown coming. I mean, the whole way I'm getting to that point on the interstate, Litchfield area was just clogged with semis and vehicles on the road, off the road, in the median, car accidents. I hope everybody made it out all right and was okay. Nobody was seriously injured. It was bad. But the interstates, for the most part, were clear of snow. They were salted. They weren't too bad. The ice wasn't really built up in those areas. We've got great road crews. I will give that to the Midwest, Central Illinois, and Southern Illinois, whatever. They do a good job. There's one function that I would say we kind of got mastered, and it made me very. Winter always humbles me. Winter always reminds me of how much we need each other. No doubt. If you don't believe that we need each other, you don't go through a grueling winter time, or you haven't had to be places in a winter awful storm. Anything. And it wasn't even the worst thing in the world, but it was just, I had to get going. I had to get on the road. Yeah, we have got that. As much as I won't try not to talk politics or anything like that. I'm a very freedom person. I'm a libertarian. I'll tell you straight up, I believe in freedom. I believe that everybody, if we all just thought more individually and focused on ourselves, like I said at the end of the podcast, let me help you. I gotta help me first so I can help you. The more that you get out of your own way, you find out that you can be far more useful to the world. in this instance, I will say, I do not know at all, but I would believe that if there wasn't government, we'd figure out a better way to clean the roads off. I hope, but I'll give credit where credit's due. They did a great job. Our police officers did a great job of providing safety and comfort in some way in a crappy situation for a lot of people last Friday. So let's get to a little bit of what happened. I'll just tell you a little bit. I decided this slowdown's coming up. I can see it. I'm like, all right, let's try to recalculate. I go to recalculate, and it tells me take this highway to Woodlawn. That's what it was. And it had not been plowed. So driving about 30, 35 on a road that was pretty accessible off the interstate. I'd already been through like 2 or 3 slowdowns. 2 for sure. There might have been like, just a small slowdown where everybody's just traffic built up, type of thing, but construction or something. But there were some serious slowdowns. And so I got off the interstate. I'm like, all right, I'll take this way. We all who did that, there was about 5 of us that did that, quickly realized we're gonna have to go pretty slow here, or we're gonna be in an awful situation. You fall off the road, you're done for. I saw 2 vehicles like that on my way through this town, getting to this gas station in this corner where it turns, and then I get on a different highway. I think it was Highway 15, or Route 15, Illinois. And stopped at the gas station, drained the sea monster, but also ran into people that were going northbound and southbound as well. Some people trying to get to St. Louis, some people trying to go down south, and everybody's just like, do you know where to go? Do you know where to go? What were the conditions you seen? What are the conditions you seen? This is what I saw. Don't mess around. If you go down, you're going to be stuck there for a while. I mean, everybody was occupied, so. These one guy saying they left Springfield an hour almost before I did, and they were in the same spot where I was. They said they came from away, and I don't know if it was the same route I came, but it didn't make much sense how they'd be coming from there when they came from where I was going. So they said they just kept running into black ice. I get on to 15, and it has not been plowed at all. It just got tire marks. Lots of vehicles have driven through it. I don't think I remember seeing anybody falling off that road, but Waze luckily knew you better be driving 25 miles an hour, and it tells you 25 on this road. 30 to stay on the road that I was on, but I needed to keep going south or east, one or the other. But I think it was south. And for about 35 minutes, it was 20 to 25 miles an hour. My ass end of the van was just hopping back and forth. There were vehicles coming northbound as I was going southbound. Semi-trucks. This is a 2-lane country road, or, could be, but it felt like a 1-lane. And it was fucking terrifying. Every time a vehicle come past me, my lights aren't as bright as these LED awful inventions that allow the blind to see, but the people that are fortunate like me, who can see far too well, it's awful for. But anyways, it was the worst white knuckling driving of my life. It was the worst drive where nothing serious happened. At least, I didn't get stuck. But I knew if I fell off into the cornfields, into the ditch, or anything like that, I was done for. And I probably wasn't going to get to Nashville on time. Definitely not. And I had the house board with me as well. Not just my guitars. And I needed to be there early. So what is usually a 5.5-hour drive, 6-hour drive, depending on how many stops you make and food, you know, or whatever. Ended up being like 9 hours, I think. I left, I think maybe 2:30 or something, and I got in around 10. So what is that? Is that an 8-hour? Can I do math? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 8 hours. So about 7.5 hours, I guess. I'm lying. It was just grueling. By the time I got to the little town, I was coming up off of 15. And I'm like, thank God this has got to be over with, right? There's a semi that has jackknifed to the next highway that I'm supposed to hop on. And I'm like, oh God, what does this mean? So I end up turning left to get on this curve that goes into this highway, the next route, and it was clear. And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. But still, you never know what's coming up. So I'm taking it light at first, and there's a truck behind me, and we're going 35 or so, and I'm like, okay, I can take 45, take it 50. Every once in a while, and slow up, you know, just like, oh, I don't know, man. But all of a sudden, I'm surrounded by guardrails, and there's no lights to be found. And I'm like, hold up. Is this water near me? I look down at the map on my phone, and yet, I'm in the middle of a lake driving on a man-made bridge when there's possible ice on the roads. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is scary as hell. I think Satan was in the back of the van laughing the whole time. It was rough. Even thinking about it right now has got me stressed out. It was so bad, but once I got to Paducah, everything started clearing up, and I knew I was going to be alright. The south got hit with just thunderstorms. I guess Mount Vernon had some snow lightning going on. Rough time, let's just say that. Prepare yourself for the road. Prepare for the freaking worst. And if you know bad weather's coming and you gotta leave during bad weather, don't leave the night before. Get going. Get going down the road. Do whatever you have to do once you get there. If you don't got your, hotel, Airbnb, whatever it is, like, figure it out once you get there. Which again goes back to my whole thing, the stuff I was saying last week. This stuff's not for the faint of heart. If you're not ready financially, or mentally, for this kind of stuff, what are you doing out there? I mean, you're learning. You're gonna be learning the hard way, but it would be probably better if you had your shit together. And every week, I say that to myself. Like, okay, what thing do I need to work on? Or what do I need to prepare for? I need to start looking at the damn weather a lot more. Got everybody else in my life going, hey, don't you know it's going to snow? I'm like, are you kidding me? No. I got these things to do. It's time to leave.
In 6.3 miles.
Yeah, there she
take
is.
Exit 44B, I-57 north toward Chicago.
We're taking it. I hope you love how professional all this is. You're still hearing the wind from the van. It's pretty loud. I don't have a professional mic with a noise gate set up yet. haven't got there, but I got to get this stuff out of my head and just talk about it. Learning how to talk to myself through this podcast. This is my own therapy, I feel like, at this point. Moving forward, though, Saturday was definitely the longest day of rehearsal I've had. We started at like 8:30, got up at 7:30 after that horrible drive, and had to set up, around 9. We're getting it all in there and figuring out how it's all going to be done. And I don't have much of a problem, with it's difficult. It's more so, I'm capable of a lot of things, and I always want to do whatever is required where I can help, and I always feel like that in life. Step up where you need to step up. No one to speak, no one to sit down, shut up. Always try your best. Who's gonna carry the boats? I'll say it probably every podcast. David Goggins lines. Who's gonna carry the boats? And whatever that is in your life, are you gonna step up and carry that damn boat with the team? Because this is your team. This is your camp. That's what it's all about. You fail and you win together. That is it. If something don't go right and you had a great time still, that does not count fully as a win entirely. Everybody's got to feel like they won. And if everybody feels like they won, we won. And there is no, you can't disregard people that are negative and might be overly negative and pessimistic. That's when you need to realize what is the truth and what isn't the truth. Which that takes a lot of life experience. I'm a very gullible person. I tend to believe in people by my instinct. It's just I'm very trusting. It's definitely my problem. When I took the personality test a long time ago, I was told I have rose-colored glasses, that I might see the world a little bit astray from what it actually is. So I started to move towards the direction of trying to see the world as it is as much as possible, but still keep the optimism. That's the same attitude I was talking about with, when it comes to music theory. You need to have the box and the truth of the matter that you can really rely upon, but at the same time, you need to be able to get back to being so optimistic that you're you're prepared.
In 1 mile, use either lane to take exit 44B, I-57 north toward Chicago.
I need to go to I-57. What was I saying? That's why I got tripped up. You need to have that optimism so that you can push forward and really achieve and not be so drowned out by that kind of stuff. 44B, going to Chicago. No, I'm not. Going home. Going home. Rambling a little bit. That's all this is.
Exit left to exit 44B.
Lady, we know.
I-57
We
north
know.
toward Chicago.
I might just build up a couple of these podcasts before I release them all. And I'm just going to start, dropping them, hopefully weekly. And
continue straight for 40 minutes to
to get 'em out.
I-57 north, I-64 west toward
I don't
St.
care
Louis,
if anybody's
Chicago.
listening to them or not. That's not, again, that goes back to the rocket and the fuel. I ain't worried about the fuel. I build a rocket. Definitely a field of dreams attitude. If you build it, they will come. If you don't build it, how are they ever going to come? I'm definitely tired of driving. Hopefully I reach a new plateau of being able to drive all the time like this, because I'm being forced to. Of course, it's my choice, but there's only one option, and that's to drive, so. Obey lane signal. I'm glad I'm not a trucker and don't have to go into those places. Back to Saturday. It was a long day. We didn't get done till, 10:30. And probably stayed up a little too late after that, just being a little overwhelmed by the few days and the grind. But I knew I'd get some sleep and get back to it the next day, and we did, and had a pretty good time. Rode around on scooters way too much, had too much fun. Trying not to get hurt riding around on scooters. It's a little silly. Let me fix that. Sorry about that if you're hearing that horrible squeaking noise. That's my door to my van, to the cargo bay. Again, I'll say it, I'll repeat myself a lot, but this stuff is not for the faint of heart. Even for me, I'm asking myself, are you good? Are you good? And really, there's only one part of me that, is not good. And it's the guy who worries about the people that need him in his life, and who love him. And the other part of me that's doing this stuff is just eating it up, I can't get enough of it. This is what I've been working for, towards it. I'm getting a lot of validation right now, and I'm not trying to let that get into my head, but it's allowing me to realize how much I am ready for this stuff, and how I know this is the world I can exist in, and that it's not just everybody. I don't know if everybody does, but it seems like so many people get caught up in their numbers and the fans and who's at the shows and all of that stuff, and that's just, don't worry about that fuel, worry about whether your fucking rocket's actually going to get out into outer space, how high can it actually climb? And I don't have escape velocity yet, but my computers that are running tests are saying, I think you might achieve escape velocity with this rocket, guys. I think you built something, you have something that can achieve escape velocity. You just need fuel. And when you get to that point, it feels pretty decent. But at the same time, like I've said before, you don't get to choose whether you get that fuel. And what I do appreciate a whole hell of a ton is knowing that it's on the table, and that no matter what, it's on the table. That alone allows people to walk away from it or keep going and feel fine about it. A couple months back, I was really questioning whether or not I wanted to continue. I was hitting a wall of, is it really worth it? I want so many things out of life. Why would you want this thing? You load yourself up with all these wants, you should understand how much strife and pain you will carry because of that. I guess I'll talk about Ram Dass a little. If you don't know who Ram Dass is, Google him. I still don't really know who Ram Dass is. But I do know who he is at the end of the day, the truthful way of understanding who that guy is. But as a person, I don't know enough about his life to really define that whole deal of who he is. But I can tell you what he's taught me in the small amount of reading Be Here Now, Remember Be Here Now. Changed my life. How he connected the Eastern philosophies to our Western philosophies, and just opened the door for me to believe a whole hell of a lot more. And you know, once you have that information, you go about your life about just basically two different ways, and that's the way I've chosen is to accept all of the things that a human desires, and all of those things that human strive carries with it will present a certain amount of suffering. Are you prepared for it? Are you willing to accept that? You know? And if the answer is yes, everything's your damn fault. Everything. Once you realize you want to live and you choose it, it's all your damn fault. It is all your fault. Everything that happens to you, it's your fault. You want to be here, right? And I am not saying go out and kill yourself if you want to escape this. I don't think that's the answer. I think it is, we must grow as human beings to realize, learn how to accept it is all your fucking fault, man. There's no getting around that. You may try to leave this world, and guess what pain you're going to leave in it? That's your fault. You will cause that pain on this world. And you don't know what you will leave behind for everyone. You don't know that you are the missing puzzle piece that has caused suffering in this world, in people's lives. That if you might have stayed around, it might be you who are on the front lines of saving someone's life, saving lots of people's lives, contributing in a way that caused less suffering. And it's a tricky deal, you know, whether or not we are helping each other by wanting so much, or whether or not we should want less so that we don't cause more, but then you don't try to achieve for more. So then you have to think about, okay, well, how do I achieve more without wanting more? And a lot of people, not a lot of people think about it though, going off the grid and just living for themselves and figuring out how to be truly independent. That's one way for sure. But if we could all just negotiate without regulation as much, to be truthful and honest and trusting at the chance of betrayal, and figure out how to get to forgiveness when betrayal happens, because it's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna get screwed over and feel left behind, or somebody is gonna do some things, intentional or not, that hurts others. And it's definitely at that point when a person must realize their situation, whether or not they want to keep being in it. I've had to do that many times. I've never enjoyed it, having to leave a situation situation where I knew that I was continuously being disrespected or hurt, and it didn't matter to those who inflicted that pain, and that it would continue to be like that. At some point, you just say to yourself, it's okay. It's alright. But I gotta go. Love you, but I'm moving on. Some people have said that, probably to me. And it hurts. It hurts everybody involved. That kind of stuff, it's painful. There are so many things I still struggle today with to forgive myself for. And that's the hardest fucking thing. That was Cain's problem after he killed Abel. That pain is too much to bear. It's too much. Once you realize what you've done to others and that you can't change or take back, and if you're there ever, hang on to it. Don't do any more irrational things, hopefully. Try to figure a way around it and continue to push forward, but it's tough. Good Lord. To be able to forgive yourself, it takes more than you. It takes other people, and it takes a higher power. 100%. And I guess this is where I would say that's why God has entered my life and stays with me, and why I believe in Jesus. And I don't believe anybody else has to. You don't have to believe in the things that I believe in. You don't have to believe in a damn thing I tell you. But would I like you to? Would I love for you to understand the perspective I have on things? Yes. I don't want to feel alone in my own thoughts. I said a long time ago, maybe the Big Bang, or whatever that concept is something metaphorically comparable to God was alone on an island. If you were alone on an island, what would you eventually realize you need? Somebody to talk to, man. People are lonely. What do they need? They just want somebody to talk to. They want somebody in their life. Because when you get to talk to somebody long enough, you feel that they care. Because the patience that it takes for a person to listen to you is the equivalent to caring for someone. And I learned that a long time ago when me and my best friend absolutely broke our relationship for a minute. And when it came back and we could say sorry and forgive each other, that's when you realize who you need in this world to talk to get through this whole mess. And that's from a Knuckle Bear song. It all starts to make sense, man. God split himself into fucking everything, everybody. Why? Because he was tired of being alone and needed somebody to talk to. So he became all that we see around us. He became you. He became me. He is the atoms. We are the atoms.
Watch out. Construction on road ahead.
Everything. You are everything. We got construction ahead. We're in the God mind. We're in the Godhead. It's a triune relationship. You don't understand this yet? Like, how do you not see it? It all makes sense for me, and it's because I've taken the time to look at life through so many different lenses, and I do know what I'm looking at. I understand the very thing that this is, but where it's going, I have no idea. And that's the beauty of it all, right? Is that when you realize the future, you realize the infinite possibilities that are happening, that are capable of. And when you understand your own mortality and you're no longer eternal life, and you've fallen from that, then you're human, and you've got this consciousness, this sentience. A lot of people believe that we're moving into the next era with AI of consciousness, Christ consciousness, possibly. I don't know, though. I'm not certain, because I believe you're not supposed to be certain. Every time I have been super certain about anything, this world and God throws me a curveball like no other that I'm not ready for, I'm not expecting. It's like, haha, you came to a conclusion and you thought that was the point of the game, and it's not. You need to be about 90-95%. And that's as close as you can get to certainty. You try to strive for more than that, you're going to end up in hell. And I'm telling you, 90-95% certainty. You need a fudge area. What's the fudge area? That's where faith exists, everybody. That's where faith exists. Okay? It's that last bit where you let go and you say, okay, I pray that the universe, the man above, the thing that is pushing all of us, gives us our drive, carry us across the finish line. And the thing is, what's beautiful, is the finish line idea. Like that's a conclusion. It's not. That's what's crazy about it all. There was one point in time where I started to think, it's far scarier to believe that once this thing all ends, it doesn't end. Hey, being atheist at one point, you die, right? But what if that isn't the truth? What if this shit doesn't end and you transform into something else and it just keeps going? I think that's far scarier. But I do believe that once it does end, you just stop being what this is. You get to go back to Nirvana, and Nirvana doesn't know itself from itself, or know you from itself. It sees itself as everything. It goes back into what it used to be. That's what peace is, everybody. Will we know peace on earth? No, that's in the Garden of Eden. We've left that a long time ago. We got to deal with our own strife now, which we can see like God. We've lost our eternal life in that regard. I mean, I almost believe nothing understands it's gonna die, because it does. No animal other than us really lives like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fade one day. Now, does a lot of conscious animals have sadness and emotions? Fuck yeah, they do. But do they really understand immortality or death? No, they don't really think about it like that. They just think about living and surviving and doing the things that are required of them to do that. And we used to be like that, I believe. When cautiousness came to be, and started spreading amongst us like crazy, that's when things changed. I often think that might have been when the Bible story started. You can get into the whole theories of, maybe 12,000 years ago there was civilization that got wiped out by the Great Flood. And there are people that found other people afterwards somehow that came from those civilizations previous, and they passed down the knowledge that they could with what they had. And to the people that were just waking up to the world, who didn't have those tools and found those folks would almost be considered gods. Just like we've seen that enough with tribal people. When the New World comes and finds them, there's enough evidence to suggest that stuff. I'm babbling. I'm rambling. This is how I talk through what I'm thinking about and what I go through. At my best, I know that I don't know where my thoughts come from. I do, and I don't. And it's that weird thing to say, but I believe in paradoxes. I believe in two truths to the same coin, the flip side of things. Two things that contradict each other can be true at the same time, somehow. I definitely believe in it. But that's kind of the tightrope you walk. The balancing, the balance beam, what you're trying to achieve. You got to be in that woozy, juju, mystical, woo-woo area to really grasp life. And some people don't like this. Some people really hate this shit. And they just want to say, no, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. And they are certain of certain things. And I think their hubris is gross. Because I've had it. I think I've had that ego. I think that ego is nasty. Even me just talking, I'm just talking. And maybe that's my ego driving itself, and it's a paradox within itself of speaking shit and talking shit maybe about other ego. But really, my ego is trying to tell itself what it doesn't know and what it does know at the same time. And there's something inside everyone, not everybody, I guess, but I want to believe it's in everybody, knows the truth, inherently knows everything about life. If you look deep enough, you are capable of looking deep enough. It's there. It's within you. The knowledge that has been passed on and gifted to you by all of the previous generations that make up who you are. All the great-grandfathers you don't know. All your great-grandmothers that you don't know. All of your ancestors that are people so far removed from your personal family that you barely can even consider them. You are still there. And that's when a person like me, lets go and acts like a hippie and believes we are all one and the same. But we're not. We exist on a spectrum. All humans do. Here goes the phone. Drop. All humans exist on the spectrum. And what that spectrum is shouldn't be really defined, but if you imagine everybody like that, then life gets a little easier, I believe. You start to realize your place in the world most of the time, or where everybody else sits. And this is not a judging, like, better or worse thing. This is a understanding thing, where you can realize those amongst us that are just acting in the world, being the thing, being who they are, and where they stand, and where you stand with them, and whether or not you are compatible and capable of talking to them at all, really, on a deeper level. If you get too caught up in wanting to put a label on everybody, then it's almost like you can't get through to them at all. You don't ever have a chance to get past your own shit to really know them. And so that's why you don't get to be friends with those people, or you don't get to be friends with the people that you think you can be friends with, or whatever it is. I wrote down the other day and put it out there. It's hard to believe how intelligent and special someone is if you never see beyond their stupidity. And that works both ways. It's hard to believe how intelligent and special you are if you never see beyond your stupidity. And it can work a third way. It's hard to believe how intelligent and special someone is, or you are, if all you do is see stupidity. You know? The third way, I guess, is the combination of the both, of the two, you know? And understanding how to really interface with folks. You're not always going to be able to, because not everybody's going to be open. But on some level, you can figure out who people are by their actions and their words, and where you stand with them. And the closer you get to folks, and in this way, it's all up to you, really. It takes two to tango, but most people realize what I'm saying. They just don't want to admit it most of the time. People don't want to admit the truth that we could all share together. That's the deal. That's really hard in this life, is that we all want to live on a bridge together, right? Who wants to be on opposite sides of the fucking coin for their whole life and their whole existence? We all need each other, guys. We all need each other. If you don't believe that, then your bridge will be burned. Or you will never be able to make one or cross one. I got a guy carrying a bunch of fucking tractor tires, big old truck tires, trying to pass me on the interstate, and I'm going 80 miles an hour. The fuck are you doing, dude? Edit that out or keep it in. Damn. Silly. I am focused on the road, folks, but we're getting to the end of this one, I think. I don't have much more time or much more things to say or ramble about. Got about 2 more hours. Back in Illinois, the gas is up again. It's up 30 cents compared to where everywhere else is. You gotta love Illinois. Helping out the small guy. Silly. So silly. But, you know, some people they get to choose where they live. Others face the reality that if they weren't living in the spot where they're supposed to live, the world would be worse off without them. I definitely believe that. I love my city. I love my town. It makes me everything who I am. I've always believed that. I've just been surrounded with awesomeness, and I didn't care whether the world saw it or not. I've always wanted the world to see it, but that's not up to me. I'm going to do my best always to pray in hope through action and faith that we do get to show the world how cool we are, or I get to show how cool my place is. And, I'm very fortunate for the internet and being a person who knows how to use it as a useful tool. It definitely knows how to use me as well, make me feel ways. What's that algorithm doing to you? Are you worried about it? You scared? I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's just like anything else. You can't control that. You can decide not to participate as much, but then you're going to miss out on some things. There's a balance, though. There's people who don't care if they miss out on things, and there's folks who do care if they miss out on things, and I think you need to be in between.
In 6.2 miles,
We
stay to the
know.
left to I-57
We
north,
know.
I-64 west,
Lady,
towards
we
St. Louis,
know.
Chicago.
How do I get you to shut up when I'm talking? I'll figure that out for next week or something. And hopefully I'll be able to just record on my laptop, bring a small interface, and use a microphone with a noise gate. If I don't, I'm sorry. I've got a lot of things to work on. Every week I come back, I am writing down a list of things I need to have done or do before I go back. And I don't always get to everything, but they're going to be waiting on me. I'll go back to talking about climbing your ladder and how you got to create your own ladder sometimes. Some people have taller ladders, right? I said this last week. As you climb your ladder, your life will change. The things you had to value will change. Things that you wanted to value or you want still in your life, you sometimes have to sacrifice. Your ladder might change. There might be a point when you get so high on your ladder that you reach a level and you get to walk over to a different ladder and you're like, holy shit, this ladder's just here and I can climb it now. And really what that ladder is all those list of things that you need to do. Because now it makes sense. And there's a bunch of stuff on your path that you need to get done so you can proceed forward. I sometimes have been, get stressful with what that might be sometimes, but it's time to push forward. Do those things on your list. Some people have used the sticky note method for a long time. It works for them. For me, I'm getting to that point. I'm not using sticky notes necessarily all the time, but I'm thinking about things I need to do when I have abundant amounts of free time, because I just quit my job. But there's still things to do. There are still things to prepare for. It's not all, oh dude, you got to quit your job, how great. Your life must be set. No, it's not set. Like, that's why rich people have such drinking problems and such drug problems sometimes. That when they are set, they feel like they don't have necessarily anything to do and they've lost their purpose. It's like, come on, man. There's a lot to do stay focused. If you can stay focused on the things that are in front of your path that you're supposed to do, you're required to do, you'll feel better about it. And you won't need to fill yourself up with so many other things. Oh goodness, I gotta work out, that's for sure. I need to go on some runs this week. If we got some good weather, I'm gonna go out, maybe on a bike ride or something like that, and go on some runs, feel better, conquering the devil out there.
In 1 mile, use the left 2 lanes to stay to the left to I-57 north,
Okay,
I-64
come on,
west,
girl. You
towards
gotta
St. Louis,
be
Chicago.
quiet. Oh, there we go. I found it. North 57, 64 west, 0.7 miles. Here it comes. Got people behind me coming up quick. I'm staying in my lane. Y'all gonna have to wait until we get through this shit. Don't worry, we're gonna get through it together. But yeah, getting out, I'll tell you something. Working out for me is everything. With my job that I used to have, or I have, being a carpenter, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, really, when it comes down to you're doing so much that by the time you get home, it is very hard to work out or want to work out because you are sapped of your energy. It's hard to do things when you are sapped of your energy. But 1 hour a week, or 1 hour a day for like 4 days a week of working out, that's pretty much all that's required out of somebody. But, you know, I am that type of person that when I get out there and I start running and I do more and more, you need more and more to get that feeling, to get to that feeling. I love runner's high. It's amazing. And what runner's high is when you get to that point in that moment where the devil is telling you to stop, because that's how I identify it. Maybe you don't want to. I definitely identify Satan within me out there saying, hey man, you can hold up, you can just stop at this tree and just turn around. Ain't nobody here to tell you that you did a bad job or anything. Like, you're out here already. Why don't you just slow down? Go fuck yourself. I know who you are. You're not on my team. I'm gonna fight through you, and once I do, and I leave you back there at that fucking tree that you wanted me to stop at, I am gonna feel so much better. It's amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. It is so wonderful when you get past that point of, I can't do anymore. And then you got more to give. It's unreal what it feels like. You stop feeling. The feeling goes away, and you're just kind of in awe of it all. You're like, hell yeah. And there's so many levels of exhaustion that when you can continue going, oh, damn, you're proving it to yourself. So hopefully I can get out there and get a couple miles in this week or something. I hope the sounds and all of that haven't been too bad. It's 4 o'clock in the evening and almost 5 o'clock, and I'm feeling pretty good that I'm not going to have to drive too much in the darkness. But that's been this week of Guitar Player in His Van podcast. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you listening. I hope I'm helping. I hope you give me some feedback. Again, I think I might do a few of these before I start putting them out, and I'll just put them out weekly and then see if I can continue doing that as the tour starts. 400 and less than 450 hours out till downbeat. It's pretty it's pretty crazy. Let's go. Get after it. Talk to you later.